Welcome to Huila. Geographic location. It is located in the south of the country in the Ajan region bordering to the north with Tolima and Cundinamarca, to the east with Meta, to the south with Caqueta and to the west with Cauca. Climate. The temperature variation the Huila department range from 28 degrees centigrade experience at its lowest, especially in the Neiva Valley, extending to the far north, crossing the entire semi-arid region of Jararaca. In this region are all climates and a wide variety of soils that facilitate the diversity and extent of agricultural and livestock production. Territorial extension. The area of Huila comprises 19,980 square kilometers, which corresponds to only 1.74% of the total area of the country. Compared to the surface of the other departments, it occupies the 70th place above Caldas, Atlantic, Quindío, Risaralda, and Sucre. Economy and population. Its economy generates 1.74% of Colombia's GDP, 0.8 according to the DANE. It has an estimated population 2020 of 1,122,622 inhabitants. Ancient culture. The Pea House. The Pea House buried their dead relatives in caves after telling them what secrets they heard, and with them say buried meals of corn, beans, and chicha, and weapons. Yanacona. One of the most typical ritual practices of this culture is that water lighting, in which the image of a saint or a virgin from the reservation is taken to each house to be venerated and collect alms. Nazapaes. At the time of the arrival of the Spanish, they focused on the cult of the sun and a cultural hero named Huequilo, who was the instructor of the shamans. The intervention of three supernatural beings to solve their economic, emotional, and health problems: the elf, the rainbow, and the edge, spirits that cause misfortunes. Huila rituals. The major ritual is the Sacael Unihuesex, an ethnic festival of great recognition that is celebrated every year in the department of Huila, the municipality of Toribio, and the indigenous reservations of Bitonco, Togoima, and Pitayo in the department of Cauca. The division of chiefdoms, as a form of social organization of the indigenous around the year 1700, led to the rituals being invaded by new practices that lasted until the end of the 20th century. Their ceremonial practice began to recover from 1971, when the Regional Indigenous Council of Cauca was created. It should be remembered that on June 6, 1994, a natural catastrophe occurred that stopped the initiatives to recover the sacred acts. But from the following year, a process of ethnic and territorial reconstruction began, where rituals played a transcendental role since 1995. The social movements that guide the struggles for the recovery of the lands and territories usurped by the landowners were formed. It was a time in which constitutional recognition was granted for the indigenous, including their rules and customs. In this way, the Sacael Unihuesex regained its symbolic balance. Since 2000, when the Council, representatives of the indigenous associations and the Cree established the place and date of the first meeting of the communities for its celebration. Huila Folklore. The 58th version of the folkloric festival National Bambuco Ring and international folklore show will once again be its own occasion to show our countrymen, film nationals and international community the great wealth of our beautiful department of Huila. The origin of the festival dates from colonial times in honor of San Juan, for rural celebration, and San Pedro for urban ones. On June 24, it was customary for families to go for a walk along the riverbank and then prepare the traditional barbecue. On the 29th of that same month, various activities were carried or in the urban areas such as Paradise, the Prize Wand, gunpowder, brandy, and of course the native music could not be absent. Over time, these two celebrations were united, becoming the official party for which the typical dresses of men and women, the choreography of the San Juanero from Huila, and the events to be carried out during the day were standardized. Huila Folklore, Paradise. The sevens have gained the relevance to be shown in parades through the main streets of Neiva as the local comparsas and the delegations that arrive from different cities of Colombia. During the parades you will see floats and comparsas, the show de Janeiro, Joropo, de Barranquilla, Carnival. The Jipaos of the Cufre region and the Greek folkloric, sample of dance groups that reflect why the Williams Bambuco has become famous, with its dance typical of the Sanjuanero protagonist. Short as the Casica, Gaitana, parade in which only women participate in this one of the most traditional. The tour begins at the Monument to Mother Earth, continuing along the Avenida Circunvalar to El Caracol Park. Mysticism also enters the scene along the Magdalena River Bath Parade, with masks that refer to the characters of Tolima, grandes such as the Llorona, de Madremonte, de Moján, de Muelona, de Patasola, de Duende, and the Sombrerero. Music. The department also has great performers of Colombian music, such as Rodrigo Silva from Dueto Silva y Villalba and Lizardo Díaz from Dueto Los Tolimenses. Will musicians use traditional instruments such as the guitar, the tiple, the bandola, the requinto, the drum. However, they have added to the list a series of curious instruments among which the following stand out. The zambona or puerca, a small and bulky drum that is played by friction by means of a fixed rod in the center. The chucho, a guadua cylinder covered at both ends and stuffed with the sets. Like maracas, the almhawk, cylindrical guadua to scrape, the milo flute, and the tambora, a singular drum that is charged of carrying the rhythm in performance, such as the Sanjuanero.
Dance. Bambuco is characteristic rhyming of the Colombian Andean zone, whose origin has been located in the department of Cauca, in the middle of the 18th century in the atmosphere of the slaves brought from Africa. The old bambuco that today is played and danced in the Pacific coast is a survival of it. Since the end of the 19th century, due to reforming work of Pedro Morales Pino, the bambuco assumed the 3 by 4 meter, which today is the favorite of many composers. With the passage of time, the bambuco was acquiring peculiarities of each region. In Anguilla it's for example the rajaleña, in Nariño the guaniña or the southern zone, and in Antioquia it's the commitment of two strong voices with their own style. It's the dance of greater dispersion in the country, and therefore at one time it was considered as the most representative of the Colombian. Sanjuanero and Rajaleña. It's considered as bambuco and it's dressed with somewhat theatrical moments, which are found in the emphasis given to the flight of the skirts, the excessive flexion of the feet when given the jump, to the can style on the part of the woman, the enhanced expression of the youth in search of scenic figuration and not traditional attitudes that the men do with the hat. Changing rooms, woman. The white tricoat blouse with wedges is made of ribbons and lace underneath with second applications with a slim fit and zipper at the back. The skirt in satin rotund plate and of color belong to half of leg. The first flowers that underneath were painted on the fur. At the present time the skirt takes flowers in different shades, dyed in satin, dyed in the gradate and the polished lips and buds. Painted behind, they have two 9 branches of the cup flowers. And men, the typical main costume is made out of a hat, suaseño or pinlo, white or colored shirt with embroidered bead in colors or made in striped fabric in another color. Satin tail, it rooster scarf, poncho or rana calentana. 3 buckle bed, striped pants or samaca, denim and root, the couple wears picked espadrilles. Willa craft. Willa has a hash ancestral legacy molded in clay and carved in stone. Its figures and ceramics created by artisan hands remain us of our roots. Family culture. In Willa, There are more than 1,200 families dedicated to different craft, trading being their only source of income. Artisan sector. It's made of several among which those with the greatest tradition stand out, such as ceramics and weaving of vegetable fibers and based on banana, fig and flint. Artisan techniques. Various natural fibers are used for weaving, which are extracted from the bark of the tree. For hats, it's extracted from the buds of the palm. Works of the Totum artisans make jewelry and decorative objects. Architecture, Bridge of Dreams. Location Colombia, Department of Huila, North Subregion. It's a sun bridge over the Beach River. It's located 12 kilometers from the urban center of the municipality of Palermo on the road that leads to the municipality of Santa Maria. It's important to the department because of the architectural layout. Golondrinas Tunnels, Department of Huila North Subregion. Potosí de Golondrinas Tunnels are the ends of the Golondrinas Bridge, which is the limit between the Huila and Tolima departments, communicating the Villavieja and Natagaima municipalities. Nightclubs, Piso 3, Macarena, Ole Club. Places to visit. Termales de Rivera Tourist Center is separated from Neiva, capital of the Huila department, by 27 kilometers to south and north from the municipality of Rivera, and is beautiful recreational space with medicinal pools, cool water pools, slide restaurants, and cabins for logging and complete camping area. The San Agustin Archaeological Park is one of the most important archaeological sites in South America. It's located south of the department of Huila and was declared by UNESCO as Historical and Cultural Heritage of Humanity in 1995. The park is considered the largest necropolis in America because in this place is one of the oldest, largest, and most important indigenous sites in the world. It's a place where a series of archaeological remains of our people as sculptors and artists who left our record. Huila gastronomy. What is Huila? Huila is one of the Colombian departments recognized for variety in agricultural production and meeting of cultures. The community of the department of Huila unites around good food, such as the Williamson's barbacoa that consists of tender suckling pig meat with arepa and cooked yolk. What is important? Huila gastronomy is part of the cultural wealth of the region, is definitely a tourist attraction of the department. The flavors that are tested in Huila are the product of ancestral knowledge of the natives tribes that live in the region. Flavors. The flavors and historical knowledge of the region, the result of the meeting of two worlds. On the one hand, the indigenous seasoning, and on the other, the species or ingredients that Spaniards brought from the older continent have been perpetuated through oral tradition. Dishes. The cuisine of Ita. Taste and tradition Huila cuisine is very varied. Its dishes or soups, garnishes, pieces of pastry, and drinks are part of the cultural wealth of the department. Among the typical dishes we can find, for example, mojarra yaguarena. Thank you very much. No more.